Ok, bonjour les enfants. Nous avons déjà calculé le MRP. Now we are going to draw the MRP curve. Okay, MRP curve, the shape of the MRP curve will be quite similar to the MPP, marginal product curve. It is going to have a maximum point and then it is going to slope downwards. So in our diagram, we see that the MRP curve is downward sloping. Now, having drawn the MRP curve, we are now having calculated and drawn the MRP curve, we are now able to explain the marginal revenue productivity theory. Now, what is important to remember is that MRP theory is not a theory of wage determination. That is, using MRP, we are not going to see how wage is determined, but in fact we are going to see how the demand curve for labor is going to be. Now, what is demand for labor? We have to know the definition for demand for labor. Definition is written down. Demand for labor shows how many workers an employer is willing and able to hire at a given wage rate in a given time period. This is the definition for our demand for labor. Now, we come to the marginal revenue productivity theory. First of all, we have assumptions of the theory. Like all theories, we have assumptions, marginal revenue productivity theory. So if we look well at the marginal revenue productivity theory, it is a theory where demand for labor is likely to be perfectly competitive, where the market is going to be perfectly competitive. Let us see the assumptions. Workers are homogeneous, same as perfect competition. Product market are in the product market. Alors là, nous faisons la distinction entre product market et labor market. Le product market, c'est where goods are being sold. Market structure, ça veut dire product market. Et labor market, c'est where labor is going to be purchased and bought and sold. OK? Alors, first of all, nous achons que labor est homogeneous. Pareil comme dans market structure, nous partons dire que goods are homogeneous, all products are identical. Alors, ici, nous disons workers are homogeneous. Workers are homogeneous, pas veut dire que all labor are identical, tout le monde pareil, non. But they have the same productivity. All workers have the same skills, have the same productivity. OK? Pas veut dire que tout le monde ressemble. Deuxième, workers, ça veut dire firm pay a buying power. Quand firm has a buying power, ça veut dire they buy labor, they are the sole buyer of labor, nous disons monopsony. Ça veut dire pareil comme quand nous disons sole seller, c'est monopoly. Next assumption, nous disons pay a trade union, ça veut dire trade union pas capable d'influencer le market, the market. So there is no imperfection in the market. The market is a perfect market. MPP of labor can be accurately measured. Ça veut dire nous dire qu'il nous capable de measure the productivity of all workers. Okay? Bien sûr, it is quite unrealistic because all workers, we cannot measure the productivity of all workers. For example, in the service sector, it is quite difficult to measure the MPP of workers. Then we assume that the supply of labor is going to be perfectly elastic and the firm, of course, want to maximize profit. Now, if firm want to maximize profit, according to the theory, we'll see that workers will be hired up to the point where MRP is equal to wage rate. OK? Qui fait ça? Si nous assumons que supply of labor est perfectly elastic, si supply of labor perfectly elastic, ça veut dire supply of labor est dans le diagramme, supply of labor will be equal to marginal cost will be equal to wage rate. OK? Alors, dans la théorie, nous vous trouvez que the employer will hire labor up to the point where MRP is equal to wage rate. Maintenant, si le supply of labor perfectly elastic, ça veut dire wage rate equal to marginal cost. OK? Allez, là, pour nous expliquer qui fait pour employer labor que MRP is equal to wage rate. Allons dire par exemple, si le MRP 10, si by employing the fifth worker, MRP lui 10 et le marginal cost lui 15. OK? By employing the fifth worker. OK? MRP lui 10 et wage rate lui 15. MRP c'est quoi? MRP c'est marginal revenue productivity of labor, that is the addition to total revenue due to employing an additional worker. Mais si le MRP 10, le marginal cost est 15, marginal cost égale à wage rate est 15, ça veut dire the fifth worker is adding more to cost than to revenue, ça veut dire nous pas pour hire sa worker là. Mais par contre, si le MRP 10, mais disons for hiring the third worker, le MRP 10 et le marginal cost, le wage rate est 8. Okay? Then the MRP is higher than the wage rate. So the third worker add more to revenue than to cost. We will hire this worker. So what will the employer do? The employer will continue to employ labor as long as MRP is greater than wage rate. As long as MRP is greater than marginal cost. Et que pour arrêter, c'est bien sûr que MRP equal to marginal cost equal to wage rate. Alors, si nous regardons bien, c'est pareil comme la théorie de market structure. Ça veut dire, where will the firm maximize profit? Firm maximize profit where MR is equal to MC. Okay, now we derive the demand for labor. Alors, derivation of the demand for labor. Labor in wage rate W free. Okay, ça veut dire nous pouvons employer OL free. Si le wage rate OW2, nous pouvons employer OL2. Si le wage rate OW1, nous pouvons employer OL1. So we see that the relationship, the MRP, gives the relationship between wage rate and how much workers are going to be hired. So in other words, MRP is a demand for labor. Now, not the whole curve is the demand for labor. Only that part which lies below ARP. Okay, to understand this, we have done a small calculation. See whether you understand this calculation. Allez, suivre. Ça veut dire, nous avons le diagramme là. Le marginal cost of hiring worker. Ça veut dire OW, c'est the cost per unit of labor. Okay, the wage rate is the cost per unit of labor. Si nous multiplions par OL1, we have the total cost of employing labor. Alors, qui veut dire que cost of employing labor, c'est OW multiplied by OL1. Maintenant, when we are hiring OL1 of workers, the ARP, pareil comme nous pouvons faire average physical product, ça veut dire ARP, les pouvons APP multiplied by price. Si nous donne perfectly competitive market, les vins APP multiplied by price. Si the goods are sold, ça veut dire product are sold in an imperfect market, les vins APP multiplied by MR. OK? Allons prendre là APP multiplied by price. OK? Alors, ARP is equal to APP multiplied by price. Maintenant, si je périte ça rectangle de rectangle que OL1 là. OK? Que OL1 touche le ARP. Ça veut dire ARP multiplied by OL1. Les plus similar to APP multiplied by price. Ça veut dire que je casse ça ARP là. Je vais APP multiplied by price multiplied by OL1. OK? Maintenant, APP is equal to TP over OL1. Okay, APP, average physical product, is similar to total product divided by number of workers. Alors, TP multiplied by OL1 multiplied by P, by price, ça veut dire P c'est price, multiplied by OL1. OL1 cross out. Ok, je coupe OL1. Mais TP multiplied by price, pas de ma total revenue. Ok, ça veut dire sa région là, et ARP là, en deux mots, c'est équivalent à total revenue. Alors, si le cost of employing labor, c'est sa grande rectangle, OW, après il OL1 là, tandis que le total revenue, c'est le petit rectangle, qui veut dire que total revenue is less than total cost of employing labor. The cost of employing labor is greater than the revenue of employing labor. Therefore, the firm will not employ worker where ARP is less than MRP. Li pou employ labor where ARP is greater than marginal revenue productivity. So only that part of the marginal revenue productivity which lies below ARP is going to be our demand curve for labor. So this is all for today. Hope you understand, girl. And our next class will be on wage determination in the labor market.